A building concierge named Caesar wakes up early beside his tenant, Clara, who seems to be seeing someone else. After putting on his pants, Caesar quietly leaves and heads back to the lobby. That morning, a tenant's daughter named Ursula asks him for some money, and he gives it to her without question. Later on, the cheerful Clara comes downstairs and has a friendly chat with him. Before going to work, she asks Caesar to check on her sink, and he says he will. As he sorts through the tenant's mail, he spots an envelope addressed to Clara that looks like it's from a secret admirer. Caesar later visits his mother in the hospital. He tells her that things with Clara are tricky, but he's set on finding a way. He gets back to the apartment late again, and his strict supervisor scolds him. Their conversation is cut short when a tenant named Veronica stops by and asks Caesar to watch over her 2 dogs. He agrees to do it. That night, Caesar gets ready for another evening with Clara. When she arrives, she sees another letter from her admirer, but instead of being pleased, she looks annoyed and throws it away. She heads to her room, and that's when we find out that Caesar is hiding under her bed. Once Clara is fast asleep, Caesar slips out from under the bed and uses chloroform to keep her fully unconscious. He takes her skincare products and injects something into them. The next morning, he wakes up early, brushes his teeth with Clara's toothbrush, and heads out. Outside, Ursula is already waiting. She tells him the 60 euros wasn't enough to keep quiet and now wants some adult films as part of the deal. Later that day, Veronica goes out carrying just one dog. When Caesar asks about the other, she says it has diarrhea and she's worried it might not make it. What she doesn't know is that Caesar had fed the dog something harmful. Meanwhile, Clara is getting ready for work. She brushes her teeth and continues her skincare routine. Aside from the letters, she's now also receiving irritating texts from the same admirer. Downstairs, she tells Caesar she lost a watch that her mother gave her. He says he'll look for it after fixing the sink. Clara thanks him before heading out. While Caesar, the secret admirer, writes another letter, Ursula drops by again to ask for the adult film he promised. He gives her a CD. She then mentions that Clara has become more friendly with her, so now the payment to keep her quiet is up to 100 euros. Later on, the supervisor scolds Caesar again, this time for not watering his beloved plants, which have now died. Caesar talks to his mother about it. It turns out, everything he's been doing is part of his plan to make everyone's life miserable. That includes Veronica's dogs and the supervisor's plants. The only one he struggles with is Clara, because she stays cheerful no matter what. That's what he meant when he said things with her are tough. That night, Caesar tells the janitor that the office hasn't been cleaned in days and the supervisor is planning to complain to the agency. The janitor yells at her son, but the truth is, it's just another lie from Caesar to cause more trouble. While working on Clara's sink, it's revealed that Caesar was the one who blocked it in the first place. He also pulls out the watch Clara has been searching for, then pours acid on it. After that, he hides under her bed again, waiting for Clara to return. When Clara is asleep, Caesar uses chloroform on her again and begins placing cockroach eggs all around her apartment. When she wakes up, she notices itchy rashes on her face and neck, most likely from the tampered skincare products. Still, Clara remains as cheerful as ever, which seems to frustrate Caesar. One morning, Clara wakes up feeling unusually exhausted. She opens her bathroom cabinet and finds it swarming with cockroaches. Terrified to see her apartment overrun with bugs, she quickly seeks Caesar's help. The concierge tells her that she probably brought in a spoiled fruit carrying the eggs. Caesar offers to handle the infestation, and Clara thanks him, saying she'll stay at her mother's place for the time being. This news doesn't sit well with Caesar, especially when he sees that her rashes have already cleared up. Caesar asks about the man who's been troubling her. Clara replies that the police are close to catching him since they now know he lives in the same building. She still has no idea that the person tormenting her is standing right in front of her. During a conversation with his mother, it's revealed that Caesar has tried to take his own life several times in the past, but he eventually found a reason to keep going, by dragging others into the same misery he feels. And now, he's set on ruining Clara's life, no matter what. One day, the police show up to investigate Clara's harassment case. They discover a phone and some letters inside the janitor's son's locker, which leads to his arrest. Caesar calls Clara and tells her she can return, as the bugs are now gone. He then hides under her bed again, waiting. Moments later, Clara arrives, with her boyfriend Marcus by her side. While the couple enjoys time together in bed, Caesar accidentally spills the chloroform on his own face. Fearing he might pass out, he crawls out from under the bed and tries to leave, but grabs the wrong key. Clara turns on the water to fill the tub, which wakes Caesar. Luckily, the curtains hide him, so he goes unnoticed. Marcus finds Caesar's bag, and Clara assumes the concierge left it behind after fumigating. When Marcus discovers a diary inside, he tries to read it, but Clara suddenly feels dizzy. He leaves the room to make her some breakfast. Caesar manages to find the right key and takes the diary, but just as he's about to leave, Marcus catches him. Caesar says he didn't know Clara had returned and that he came only to pick up his equipment. Clara, still unaware of the truth, gets his bag for him and thanks him again for getting rid of the roaches. Later that day, because Caesar has been absent, the supervisor decides to fire him. He's given 15 days to vacate. As Caesar packs, Veronica stops by to offer food and comfort, but instead, Caesar cruelly tells her how lonely her life is, growing old without a family, and with no one who truly cares. Just then, Clara happily comes downstairs with Marcus and says they're heading off for a 4-day trip. Feeling completely defeated, Caesar climbs up to the rooftop, ready to end his life again. But before he can go through with it, he notices that the couple has come back early. They're arguing. Marcus just found out that Clara is 4 weeks pregnant, even though he hasn't been with her in 6 weeks. Clara gets angry, hurt that he's questioning her loyalty. Unaware of the truth, the couple has no idea Caesar is hiding under the bed, listening to everything. When they're both asleep, he uses chloroform on them once more. He then quietly remarks that his relationship with Clara is finally producing results, referring to the child. Moments later, he slips between the two and begins doing what he has planned for Clara all along. The next day, Marcus asks Caesar to check Clara's apartment again since they still found a few bugs. But when they enter the room, the chloroform and other items are already lying on the bed. Marcus confronts him and asks how long he's been sneaking into the apartment. When Caesar says it's been 5 weeks, the furious boyfriend attacks him. As Marcus tries to choke him, Caesar grabs a piece of broken mirror and slashes Marcus's throat until he stops breathing. He then drags the body to the bathtub and places the shard in Marcus's hand to make it look like he took his own life. Soon after, the police arrive and gather everyone in the apartment building. Caesar notices Ursula giving him a look, one that tells him she knows what really happened. He also sees Clara, devastated and crying over the loss of her boyfriend. Later, Caesar finds a note that says "I saw you," and he immediately realizes it's from Ursula. That night, he sneaks into her apartment. When she tries to wake her parents, they don't respond. He's already used chloroform on them. Caesar threatens Ursula that if she speaks to the police, he'll harm her and her family. The following day, Caesar sees Clara once more, but this time, she's no longer cheerful and is getting ready to leave the building. He tries to offer comfort, but deep inside, he feels satisfied, knowing he finally managed to break her spirit. Several months later, Clara gives birth to a baby boy. One day, she receives another letter, this time containing Caesar's diary. In the letter, he finally confesses everything he did. He writes that he hopes whenever she sees her child, she'll remember him. Clara breaks down in tears as she holds her baby, while Caesar, at last, feels a sense of happiness, now that he has ruined the life of the one person who had been hardest to bring down.